So it becomes very valuable after that. Big data is a huge amount of unstructured data. Something like data coming from sensors, coming from RFIDs, coming from ATM machines, and a huge amount of data that are coming very fast, and you need to be able to connect to it, grab it, and then combine it with your actual data to be able to gain information from this data. Actually, but we have some challenges regarding this data. The triple V, volume, variety, and velocity. And we will talk more about what's the problem in the volume, variety, and velocity, and how we can control such a big amount of data to be able to gain insights from this data. The data is in a very big explosion. We have some estimates that this amount of data is in explosion, that this data coming from digital machines is about to increase by 10 times every 5 years. So to be able to have such a portfolio or end-to-end solution ready for enterprise companies to be able to gain from this data and combine it with their actual data to gain more information, you need to have some sort of a framework. Here comes one of the best frameworks in the market, which is called Hadoop. Hadoop is an API for a complete framework that can connect this data, and then after that you have to connect to Hadoop to extract the data. How it comes? Hadoop is based on a technique which is called MapReduce. For example, if you have 5 or 6 web logs and you want to be able to read each web log and search in this data, you want to count, for example, the data inside this web log. You have to read one by one and so on and so forth. The first one till the end, the second one, and then till the end of the 5 web logs. Hadoop came with another technique which is called MapReduce. MapReduce is to have 5 clusters for those 5 web logs and process them in parallel to be able to map this information from those 5 different clusters and then reduce the count of these 5 clusters or these 5 web logs. So after that, we need to be able to connect to Hadoop to gain from this data and to gain more insights about this data. So we need to go back and think about the volume and variety and velocity and the complexity of this data. So the normal application which we have in any organization is something like ERP system or CRM. This is traditional classic systems that have a highly structured data and can be stored typically in a normal database like SQL Server, for example. You don't have any problem with this data to be able to analyze it and work over it. And the size of this data can come from megabytes and can go forward to a terabyte. But we need to think out of the box. We need to think more that we need to gain insights from the unstructured data. Something like user interfaces, something that we can interact with humans versus systems. Clicks over the internet, sensors, web logs, clickstream, and more digital formats of data to be able to combine it and change the structure and to be able to gain from it. But at the end of the day, when we ask ourselves what's big data, a big data is how you think this is very valuable information and how you can analyze it and process it into your systems. And when we have to ask about the questions and learn how to answer it. Also, the data is produced in a very big manner, and the exposure of this data is very high. So here comes Microsoft. To be able to have an enterprise-ready solution for that, the data comes in different forms. A relational data, which you have in your organization. A non-relational data, which is the unstructured data you want to connect to it and grab it into your systems. And if you have some insights about your operational data, which is the analytics, that you have some sort of business intelligence in-house, or streaming, something like if anybody dealt with SQL Server before? Microsoft SQL Server? 2? Okay. So one of the services of SQL Server is streaming site. Streaming site, if you want to do a real-time BI on streams, on sensors, for example, that if you want to do a real-time BI now on your inventory, for example. If you have any problems in your inventory, if you want to have, for example, a problem, you want to analyze a problem in your RFID system or ATM machine, very crucial for the banks, for example. Okay. So this is one of the services of SQL Server, and those are the different formats that you can have your data in. What else? We need to discover this data. We need to dig down this data and gain more insights about it. We need to have some sort of one format of all of your structured and unstructured data. Of your structured and unstructured data to be able to analyze it. And then it's time to combine this data. Data coming from Hadoop, data coming from the clicks of the people on your website to see their feeds, for example, or tweets on your product, and you can see if they are saying good things about it or not. And then combine it with your actual data in your organization to be able to analyze how many people do like my product, what's their issues about this product, and so on and so forth. You can go and enhance in this product. So, and after that, I want to refine. And here comes another service in Microsoft SQL Server, which is called EIM, which is Enterprise Information Management. Enterprise Information Management, which is called MDS and DQS. MDS, Master Data Services, and DQS, Data Quality Services. Data Quality Services is to qualify that I have 100% accurate data in my place. For example, if my name is Rami, I can pronounce Rami in 3 different ways. Rami R-A-M-Y, Rami R-A-M-E-Y, and Rami R-A-M-I. And I have a data entry right who have entered this Rami into 3 different systems. How I'll do a report of the 3 different systems and know that Rami is the same. I need to analyze that the 3 different Rami are the same customer, or I'll have a bad report at the end of the day. And this will lead to a bad decision. So I need to be able to have 100% accurate data in one place, and make sure that this data is not coming also from a structured applications that you are having in-house. It can come from the internet, it can come from the sensors. So I need to make sure that I'm having 100% accurate data into my data warehouse to be able to do my analysis over it. And after I cleanse this data by the data quality services, I need to ensure that nobody will enter that data so that I can grab a trash into my data warehouse. So here comes the master data services. Master data services is to ensure that the lookouts you are having in your normal systems, or the data coming from the sensors or from the unstructured data, is not that. And it matches to your policy, and it matches to your workflows inside the organization. So to make sure that no bad data, after doing this data cleansing, no bad data will go to my data warehouse. So here we can go to our data layer, and we can see that there are a lot of different kinds of data. And then discovering this data, combining the data coming from the unstructured data and your data, and then refining this data. And by the way, I'm talking about a complete platform inside SQL Server. These are services inside SQL Server. This is not a different product. This is a complete platform that can take over your life cycle. I can name it a life cycle of data. A complete life cycle of your data to be able to gain insight from the data you are having, or the data coming from the unstructured data. Now it's time to your presentation there. Okay, I have my data secured, I have my data high scalable, I have my data in a format that I understand it, and I have it in the right way, and I'm sure 100% that I can take decision over this data. It comes here, the self-service BI, the collaboration, the corporate access, and the devices. Yes, we have now self-service BI, which is Power Pivot. Anyone knows about Power Pivot? Only one. Okay. So Power Pivot is one of our tools for the BI platform that can connect to any data source and do your own analytics in the format of Excel. You don't have to learn a new tool. I think 90% of any organization are using Excel, and they got used to Excel. So one of our powerful tools is in-memory BI that can connect to any data source, load millions of rows in one tab in Excel in no time, and then you can do your analysis over it. And guess what? When it comes to big data, and when it comes to Hadoop, we have a certain language which is called Hive. This language is an add-on over Excel that lets you connect to Hadoop and connect to this unstructured data and grab it directly inside Excel and do your analytics over it. So you don't have to have a complete, for example, platform. You can connect directly to Hadoop to your unstructured data and gain some tweaks, for example, and gain some insights about this data. Collaboration, like SharePoint, for example. After finishing your reports, you want to upload this inside your organization to share it with everybody. So it's time to upload this report over your SharePoint portal. There is a gallery there for the Power Pivot to upload this report to, and then share this with your colleagues and teams in each department to be able to share this information. Corporate apps, yes, we have a lot of corporate apps inside our portfolio. And we come to devices. I hear from other customers, for example, that yes, I like your BI solution or I like this portfolio, but how I can get access to this portfolio while I'm on my way to the office and I'm having my iPad. It's not compatible with the iPad, for example. No, now we are on all of the devices. You can open it on iPad, you can open it on Galaxy Tab. We are compatible with all of the devices. So let's translate this to the products of Microsoft. Here it comes a complete end-to-end, and I'm confident and sure that we are the only one. We are the only vendor who has a complete end-to-end solution wrapping this portfolio to be able to connect to the unstructured data and combine it with your data. And we'll talk more about how we are going to do this. So, when we talk about the data layer, you remember the rational data which was here? This is the normal SQL Server architecture with the normal database, which is the relational database. When we call Hadoop right now, this is small elephant, which represents the big data. We are talking about HD Insight Server, that you can download this HD Insight Server on your machine and be able to connect to Hadoop directly and do your portfolio over it. Or you can have this on Windows Azure. Okay, so I have the first one, which downloading this server on my machine. Work with it on my machine, but maybe some organizations don't want to set up all this environments on their own, and they don't want to have to pay this extra money. So they can go to Windows Azure over the cloud and request this from Microsoft to have this ready on the cloud, and they just go and pay the terms for example, a monthly basis for the hours they have used this data over it. Then the normal analytics, SQL Server Analysis, which is also a service inside SQL Server, and the Stream Insight, which are another service in SQL Server. And time to discover it, yes, so I have all of this data into my data warehouse, and I can perform some analytics over it to be able to do my cubes, my dimensions, and whatever I want to perform over it to gain insights from this data. Combine it, and we will talk a lot about the combination between the unstructured data and the structured data we are having. And then refining with SQL Server. Going to that service BI, which is Power Pivot. And that's that we have the Hive formula that you can connect back into Hadoop and grab the data. Power View and Power Pivot and Power Pivot Gallery over the SharePoint, SQL Server corporate apps, and then the devices that it's available on each device. The benefit from that, and what I want to stress on, that we provide an enterprise-ready platform for you to wrap Hadoop, connect to any unstructured data, to grab this data, to combine it with your metadata which you are having, and then get insights from that. Do better decisions. Take care of what people are saying, and what I can see is very, very important in different countries. I've been presenting that in different countries, that yes, the main focus on the people right now, what are people are saying now in the market? What people's opinion in my organization and my performance, for example? What's the people's opinion in my products? This is what matters. This is what matters, and the technology is coming much faster than the traditional way of thinking about our main data, our transactional data which we are having in our organization. Now it's become more crucial to take care over the internet, the streams, the clicks of the users, the sensors, and all of this digital information. And here comes our solution, the PDW. PDW is the parallel data warehouse, which is based on an MPP technique, which is massive parallel processing. So once I started my presentation, I said that Hadoop have clusters to every unstructured data to be able to have a parallelism in processing in this data, right? Here's the same thing in PW. PW is having this parallelism and an unshared architecture to be able to grab this data and process it in a parallelism mode. What else? Big data, and please remember this word, polybase, because we will talk a lot about this polybase in the next slide. I won't say a lot about polybase, but this polybase is a mechanism, some sort of a language that will help you a lot processing your data. I'll talk in details about this polybase. Breakthrough performance with MPP, I said that this is based on parallelism, that you can process different processes in the same time. Massive scale, up to 5 petabytes. Yes, it can scale up to 5 petabytes of data. And at the end of the day, a very big compression on this server. At the end of the day, a very, 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 very big saving to your costs. The lowest price, the lowest appliance in the market in terms of money is the PW. Versus HANA, versus Exadata, versus whatever, this is the lowest price in the market with the highest scale in terms of processing your data and your compression. What else about this? You need to have an appliance for the big data unstructured. Okay? This is the normal and the traditional portfolio, by the way. In all of the vendors that you have to purchase the big data unstructured appliance, and then you have to buy another one for the structured data warehouse appliance, the pure structured data, and then in-memory analytics. So you have to buy the 3 of them. But with Microsoft, PW. Only PW. You have to buy only PW, and that's it. PW will take care of over your structured data which you have in your side organization. PW will take care over your unstructured data and the connection to Hadoop, and to be able to grab this data and extract it and transform it into your way to be able to analyze it. And then we'll provide you with your analytics. You have the 3 of them in one appliance. And this is, by the way, that gentleman, which I'm sorry that I didn't introduce it in the beginning of the session, I'm very sorry. We'll talk about in details about this appliance. Do you remember the polybase, which I used to talk about? Yes. So, here's the polybase. You have Hadoop, and you have your normal data warehouse. And the traditional way in any other vendor that I want to connect to Hadoop to be able to get some results. I need to select data from the cloud. I need to select data from the sensors, for example. Okay? So I have to perform some sort of query, like Hive on the Excel, to be able to connect to Hadoop and get the results. And if I want to get this data and combine it to my structured data, I have to collect all of this data from the cloud, or sorry, from the Hadoop, and then put it inside the database, and then try to combine it with a way. But what if I want to select from both of them both? I want to combine the 2 selected queries to perform one query on both of them, on your structured data and unstructured data, at the same time. What I'm going to do? This is the case in SQL Server. This is the case in the PW. One selected query will go and be transformed to a polybase and get this data from both of them, from the data warehouse and from the unstructured data, and then get you the result. You don't have to perform any more languages. You don't have to have 2 different data sources in place, one for the unstructured data and the other one for the structured data. You don't have to do that. Only one select query, normal select query over SQL Server will be transformed to a polybase and pull the data from your data warehouse and Hadoop to grab your results at the end of the day. And this is only in PW. This is only in PW. And here's the architecture. But what matters in this architecture? That you have the apps, you have the sensors, you have the devices, you have whatever over the internet, and grabbing this data, even from an attached solution. We are the only solution, the one that can integrate with a third party. To your HTTP inside server, and then put it inside your PW. So it's compatible, it's integrated, it can integrate with any other system. And then through your PW, you can go forward to your clients through the analytics and your portal and your self-service UI. Now I'm finished with the solution, with Microsoft solution, and I'll leave it to Ziad to talk more about the appliance, because this appliance is on HP. So thank you, Ziad. I'm so sorry one more time that I didn't introduce you. Thank you.
Hi everyone. My name is, as Rami said, and I think most of you are here for the first part. My name is Ziad. I'm from HP, and my role at HP is to look after all the Microsoft business in the Middle East. So, like I said, Microsoft is a very important partner with us. We have a lot of different solutions with Microsoft. Things around SQL, data warehousing, BI are probably some of the biggest solutions we have. So, more to elaborate on what I was saying, this PDW that we just released, version 2, it is by far the highest performing, lowest cost solution out there. Actually, we have a customer today. I can't name the customer. They have a Teradata. They have invested in Teradata, and the performance is lacking, and it was also a very expensive solution. Now they're looking at bringing in our PDW, putting that in front of the Teradata, and then scaling up from that and moving out of Teradata slowly. So, this is very important to understand. You can come to the Microsoft Technology Center. You can see a demo running of how much the performance, how high the performance is, and at a very reasonable price. So if you're looking to do data warehousing, this is definitely the way to go. In terms of enhancing, in terms of software and management, just like all of our other solutions with Microsoft, we're very tightly integrated. Everything is managed from one pane of glass. So this is a turnkey solution that comes to your door. Plug it in, turn it on, and we can HP and Microsoft services can move your data onto it, get it up and running for you, and then once you do that, it's very easy to manage, very easy to work with. So what's inside of this? What's inside of this box? Part of it, as I said, is the on-site deployment services. Obviously the software from Microsoft, and then the HP unique tools and utilities. What do I mean when I say that? HP, in terms of HP data center hardware, we're all about integrating everything into one pane of glass. So instead of having something to manage your server, something to manage your storage, something to manage your network, we like to integrate all of our software together in order to manage your software. And then not only that, also plug into Microsoft's software management tools and be able to do that in one pane of glass. So that's what it's all about from this perspective. And like I said, the box comes to your door fully integrated with hardware, server, storage, networking, and then obviously the services and support from HP or from your local HP and Microsoft partner. So just to give you a bit of perspective, this wasn't even released 3 months ago, and we already sold three or four different customers. So this is something that it's extremely competitive, and honestly, by far, I can say that it's the best solution out there. So to summarize this solution, like I said, highly performing, very scalable. Like Rami said, it's scalable to 5 petabytes, which is unbelievable. I mean, I don't know, I can't think of anyone that will go to 5 petabytes anytime soon. And then obviously low cost per terabyte. Fast time to value, ready for new data, and obviously integrated with all the management tools. So just one other thing that I want to discuss. I know we're getting late. I just want to give you an idea of some of the SQL Server solutions that HP has to offer. So when you look on the very left, in terms of going to a SQL solution or going to any kind of specific solution regarding CRM, analytics, whatever it may be, as a customer today, you can go and build your own data warehouse, or you can go and do your own CRM. But why do that when HP and Microsoft are coming together and telling you, listen, we already have reference architectures that are telling you, basically giving you the guidelines for, let's say you have X amount of users with this amount of storage, we can give you a reference architecture to tell you exactly where to go, and then we can take it to our factory, integrate it together, and basically give you a pre-tested, predefined solution that can fit your needs. Instead of having to go through trial and error and taking 3 to 4 months of putting it together to go to market. And then obviously, the top of the line, best thing we have to offer is this appliance. And we have other appliances with Microsoft and HP jointly. But this is one of our go-to appliances. The PDW and HP, it's called EDW appliance. It's something that's absolutely blowing away the market. And I mean, it takes no effort to build from your end. The tuning is done by HP and Microsoft, and obviously the flexibility and the configuration, that can be done as well. So Rami, I don't know if you have anything else to wrap up. I know we went over on the time. We lost a few people in the process, so maybe I'll give it over to Rami. I don't know if he wants to take questions or.
Yeah. Actually, we started very late. We don't have much time because we informed that we have only 30 minutes to talk about this topic. But I'm more than happy to have a couple of questions if you have, and if you don't, we can proceed to the coffee break. I think this is the time for the coffee break, right?
I believe so. Yeah,
I think so. So if anybody have a question.
One question.
Yeah, sure.
When we talk about big data, we also see sometimes, especially companies that like to do real-time analysis, they integrate with RSS feeds with Facebook, Twitter. So, in your presentation, you were talking mostly about structured data and also some unstructured data, maybe like, words, some of these. And you were talking about how you could do some analytics with
the stream side?
Stream side, okay,
yeah.
Which integrates with Excel. But what about integrating with like real live feeds, social feeds, and how do you do that? Do you do that today?
Yeah. So as I told you before, we have an APIs framework which is called Hadoop. Hadoop is the framework that can connect to this types of data. Okay, and we have the solution or the enterprise-ready solution that grab Hadoop, that can connect to Hadoop and grab the data from there. So here is the PDW comes. Here is where the PDW comes. PDW has certified connectors to Hadoop that can connect to Hadoop and grab the data from whatever tweets, websites, webclicks, whatever weblogs, RFIDs, ATM machines, whatever systems or digital information you have, and grab them inside SQL Server to be able to combine it and make it in the structured format, and then you can be able to analyze it after that and do reports. But when it comes to a structured data that come from sensors, especially sensors, you have another service inside SQL Server which is called Stream Insight. You don't have to look to PDW right now. You can go for Fast Track or the normal data warehousing solution that you can do the Stream Insight and grab this data in this format inside the the SQL Server, and then do some analysis on it. But when you especially talk about unstructured data, the unstructured data your solution is the HD Insight, which I told you about the complete platform, getting the data from Hadoop, having the certified connectors, and then do it inside into your PW to be able to use the polymase and grab this data from everywhere and translate it in the structured format, and then doing your reports over it. That answers your question? Okay. Any more questions?
You said that it was compatible with other platforms, with Apple, and what way would you say that you have and you want to apply within iPad? How would that be the process?
So the first thing that you need to be able to have this data inside your data warehouse, right? I need to grab data from everywhere, from the sensors, from whatever, and combine it with my own data, which is the structured data, to be able to have a data warehouse solution. So now I have my data warehouse. It's time to do it. It's time to refine this data using the EIM, the Enterprise Information Management, which cleaning and massing this data. Then it comes the normal process, which is the analysis. I can do some cubes and analysis over this data to be ready to do some reports. Then I can go to my reporting part, reporting services, Power Pivot, Excel services, whatever I have, from tools from the SQL Server itself, and then I want to deploy those reports. So I want to deploy those reports on a portal, for example, as SharePoint. Then I want to connect to this reports to gain insights from these reports. So I'm having my Apple device. and I want to connect this to my organization to be able to dig down and to have my slices and dices and play with my data, right? So this is the case. I want to be able to connect to my portal to gain insights from my dashboards. Here, it comes with compatibility. Yes, now SharePoint with Performance Point is compatible with iPad. You can grab the SharePoint and you can render it inside iPad. Now it's compatible, yeah.
Could it be on the iCloud 5?
Whatever. Both, yeah, both of them. It can be on the cloud or on your premises, whatever. It's about the rendering of SharePoint portal itself inside the iPad. It's about managing the connection and then managing this connection to your portal and then grant the access to your reports. Any more questions? Thank you so much for your attendance. I'm waiting for you in my next session, which is SQL Server 2012, the last session in this day. Thank you so much.
The second is process. So again, in each and every organization, there is a process in place. This process can be very simple, can be very complicated. So what would be a simple process? Let's say I'm submitting an expense claim. This expense claim is for 1,000 KB, 500 KB, 100 KB, whatever it is. And based on my company's policy, this automatically goes to the financial controller, who gets approved, I get paid, full stop. That would be a very simple process that needs to be automated in an ERP environment. Probably another process can be much more complicated. Let's say I'm issuing a PO for an overseas organization. This PO is in different currency. So based on the type of organization, type of product, the currency, it has to go to the procurement manager, the financial controller, sometimes to the GM, to someone else in the organization to get approved. So this request has to go through a very complicated workflow. It has to reach different people. Probably some people has to approve it on their mobile device, BlackBerries, Windows phones, Androids, iPhone, whatever it is. Or some other people needs to go to the portal to approve it. Whatever the system, whatever the process is, or what the workflow required is, it has to be automated on the system. And the ecosystem. So again, now in the very fast-changing world, so we have every single multinational organization, they have branches across the region. So for example, you can have a branch in Kuwait, another in Dubai, another in India, Egypt, the US, Europe, anywhere. So you need to have probably different currencies managed by the system. You need to manage time zones by the system. For example, if I want to approve a PO, I need to bear in mind that this PO will be sent to my manager sitting in Germany, different time zone. He has to approve it, come back to me, and then send it to the supplier who's sitting in India. So all these different challenges due to time zones, international currencies, different regulations per country, all these has to be catered again in the ERP, and I'll discuss that in more details later on. So, a quick overview about AX 2012, Dynamics AX 2012. So, first we have three main layers. So we have the design pillars, and then we have the horizontal workloads, and then we have the vertical workloads. Let me take you through one by one. So let's start first with the design pillars. So we have the Microsoft platform, adaptability, simplicity, interoperability, and growth. So, first one, the Microsoft box. So Microsoft Dynamics AX is fully integrated with the whole Microsoft stack. What does that mean? Microsoft AX is an application, it's an ERP. It sits on a database, which is SQL. So for example, for those of you who attended the last session on SQL, whatever you've seen on SQL, BI, data warehousing, master data management, all these nice features about BI and databases all applies to AX, because AX simply sits on SQL, of course the latest version, which is 2012. It sits on Windows Server. It's fully integrated with SharePoint, with Microsoft Link, with BizTalk, with any kind of Microsoft application that you've seen during the day in open doors. Adaptability. Let's say I want to change a couple of forms. Do I need to write code? Do I need to get a developer, a very expensive developer to do it for me? No, it's all wizard-driven, very simple user interface. I can customize the form, I can create a new form, a new table in the database without really writing any code, not hard code or not even any complicated development way. Simplicity, when you see the screens of AX, probably it will be very simple for anyone who's using any Microsoft application. So if you're a acquainted with Outlook, with SharePoint, with Excel, with the simple Microsoft tools that we all use on a daily basis, probably AX also will be very simple for you to use. It doesn't really require a lot of training to get used to it. Interoperability, as I mentioned, we're fully integrated with all the Microsoft stack. But even, for example, on the development side, if I want to develop on AX, I can use Visual Studio. I can use any developer that I have in-house to develop a new module for me in AX or a new functionality, or extend AX to cover a new business drive that I'll be launching within the organization. And globalization, so we do have 40 plus languages inside AX. So Arabic, for example, is out of the box. We do have even different localizations for AX. So for example, for people living in Saudi, they do have certain requirements, like Zakat reports, like Hijri calendar, certain requirements for Saudi. For Kuwait, we have different set of requirements. For Jordan, different set. For Egypt, for Turkey, each and every country or region, they do have their own challenges from a taxation point of view, localization, regulation, currencies, etc. So most of these most of these challenges are taken into consideration by the AX international team, and we do have a dedicated team on a regional basis working on each and every single challenge for these different regions. So moving to the horizontal layer. So what are the horizontal layers? These will be the modules that will be available for anybody who will use AX, regardless of the industry. So for example, some of you are coming from a banking organization, some others coming from a manufacturing organization, retail, distribution, construction, professional services, government. Each and every one of you will have his own different business requirements. However, most of you will still need all those modules. So, of course, everybody needs a GL. Nobody can live without a GL, but GL is the backbone of a company. So everything has to land in a GL. Probably most of our organization will need a supply chain management. Most of the organization will need a human capital management, or an HR module, or a payroll module. Most of our organization will need a complete procurement cycle, sales cycle, ordering, invoicing. Some companies will need project management, project accounting. Some others will need a manufacturing module, if they're in the manufacturing space, etc. So these horizontal modules are available across AX. Let me take you through them. So production management, we do have a complete, full-fledged production module within AX that can cover discrete manufacturing and process manufacturing. So probably for those of you who are coming from a non-manufacturing background, they will not tell the difference, but for those of you who are coming from a complicated manufacturing background, so we do cover both of them. So we can cover a discrete manufacturing like the assembly, etc., and also process manufacturing, which is like chemicals, pharmaceuticals, oil, etc., all the food, all the complicated manufacturing processes also can be catered within the application. Second, projects. Project accounting, project cost control, work breakdown structure, service orders, etc. Any organization that involves projects, whether on the construction side, professional services, or even if you're into a different industry, but you really have lots of projects to manage internally, so you need to have a strong project module. So this is where the project management module kicks in. However, this is not a project management tool. So this is not compared to Project Server or Primavera. Project Server and Primavera mainly manages projects from a time point of view, activities, schedules, etc. This is more from an accounting point of view. And also we do integrate with Project Server, and I'll discuss that in a few minutes. Supply chain management, I think we all need a supply chain management. So we need to have a warehouse management, procurement cycle, sales cycle, the full integrated supply chain. So that will be catered again within a horizontal module. In addition to procurement, of course. And we do also some other functionalities that are available across the whole module. For example, portal. So for example, you can have the portal available for your suppliers. I want my suppliers to go and get their POs from the portal. I want my customers to place their orders on the portal. I want my employees to request vacation, to submit expense claims through the portal. I can extend any part of the application on the portal. This portal can be SharePoint, of course, or even any kind of technology that you have in place. Security roles, workflows, all these are different functionalities available across the whole organization. So if you want to have a workflow that starts from the procurement, and then goes to supply chain, and then goes to finance, and then HR, whatever the process that you have in place, the workflow can be easily extended to cover any module within AX. Financials. Financials is mainly accounts receivable, accounts payable, the main financial modules. And of course, this is, as I mentioned, this is the core module of any ERP. So everything that you see here usually should land in GL or in the accounts receivable or the accounts payable. Human capital management, we do have a complete HR module in AX. Service management as well is fully available within AX. Also, what I found interesting that we do have also a small CRM module within AX. So CRM is a customer relationship management application. Some industries really rely on CRM. For example, banking, telcos, these industries that do have certain requirements when it comes to CRM. CRM for them is a standalone application with its own challenges, processes, etc. Probably this module cannot cater such requirements, but this module can be a great fit for example, a sales organization, a distribution organization. Someone who wants to manage his opportunities, his salespeople, his leads, his pipeline, have more visibility on what to do the forecast for next quarter, for next month, etc. So a simple CRM tool also is available within AX, and of course it's fully integrated with the other modules. For example, once I issue a quotation from the sales module, automatically this will be part of my CRM view. I can know that exactly for that customer I submitted or I sent 4 quotations, but 2 of them were approved, 2 of them were rejected, etc. I can see exactly the performance of my customer, of my salespeople, on my pipeline from within the application itself. And last but not least is BI and reporting. So AX has dashboards, has lots of BI tools, and because it sits on SQL 2012, which is very strong when it comes to BI, you can leverage any kind of reporting or BI tools available in SQL to use it also for AX. So that was the horizontal layer. So now I'm left with the vertical layer. So now from Microsoft, we do have certain vertical templates. So we do have these 5 vertical templates available from Microsoft. So we do have a vertical for AX, vertical template for AX in manufacturing. Another for retail, service industry, distribution, public sector. So if your organization falls under any of those, we do have, of course, the foundation layer, we do have the horizontal layer, but we do also have a vertical version of AX that speaks your language, that speaks your industry, that caters out of the box or most of your business requirements. So you don't have to just rely on this layer to customize it to fit your needs. So AX for retail is a full retail ERP. AX for public sector, it has all the requirements that public sector entity would require, etc. So again, if you fall under any of these, we do have a vertical solution ready on top of AX. Please, if you have any questions, let me know at any point of time. Okay. Also, the way we see Microsoft Dynamics AX is that it's a very powerful application, agile and simple. What do I mean by this? First, powerful because, as I mentioned, it has a workflow extendable, a workflow that covers all the modules, all the different verticals. You can easily customize this workflow. You can customize forms, you can create more new tables. So you can very easily customize the application to fit exactly your requirements and your processes. Agile because it's very simple. You can easily customize the application in a very small amount of time. You can come up with a new business line if that's required, even create a new module from scratch. For example, if you have a large fleet to manage, I want to have a fleet management module within CRM, I can either get an add-on on top of the AX for fleet management, or even if I have a strong development team, I can create this module on top of the AX that automatically will be part of the whole application. And simple, as I mentioned earlier, because the look and feel, as you will see in a few minutes, is very similar to most of the other applications that you see from Microsoft. So even for an average IT user, or even a less below average IT user, he or she can easily get a training on the application and use it without any resistance. Okay. So, as I mentioned earlier, so AX is part of the Microsoft technology stack, so it's fully integrated with all the different other applications. It's a server-client application, so we do have a server and clients. And then we do have different application foundations. We have the master data, the reference data, and the global engines. I'll discuss that in a few minutes. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we have all the horizontal modules, and then we have the vertical layer. So, you can so AX is fully integrated with Microsoft Office. So if you want integration with Outlook, for example, as I mentioned earlier, I want to have a PO that will be sent to my manager to get approved, and then based on this approval, it will be sent to the supplier. So it's fully integrated with Microsoft Exchange and Outlook. So once I issue the PO, it will be sent to my manager as a task, for example, and he has to do his task in Outlook and approve this PO. And then once he approves it, it will be sent as an attachment and an email to the supplier automatically. Visual Studio 2010, I can easily develop on the application using Visual Studio. I can integrate SharePoint Portal, Project Server, etc. On the BI side, as I mentioned earlier, I can leverage whatever that we have in SQL. So already we have some cubes that come pre-configured in the application. You can come up even with your own data cubes to build on top of that certain BI layers, whether dashboards or reports or any kind of BI reports. So master data, reference data, global engine. Master data is the layer that will have all your master data, like for example the chart of accounts, like the customer data file, like the supplier data file, like your employees data, etc. Anything that is any master file that you will have in place will be under the master data foundation layer. And then we have the reference data, which will be other information or other tables that will be used across the whole application. For example, if I have certain categories, if I have certain units of measurement, if I have certain product categories, any kind of data that is used to categorize my master data, that will be available across the whole application. And then finally, we have the global engine, as I mentioned earlier. So for example, we have the workflow engine, we have the compliance management. So that will be available across all different modules and all different master data files as well as reference data. Here I'm just listing some of the features, the main features that we have across each and every module. Just for the sake of time, I will not have time to go into details here, but we have a brochure that covers all the different functionalities and features that we have per module. Okay, so AX is a 3-tier application. So what does that mean? So we do have the SQL database, so that's where my database would sit. And we have the application server, that was the AX part would sit. So I have the business logic itself will be here, while the data of the tables will be in that server. And then of course we have all the clients. And in between we have what we call an AOS, an application object server. So an application object server, its main function is to orchestrate all the flow coming from the object database and the SQL database to the clients, this direction or that direction. So how can this help your the performance? For example, if I have a certain user asking or inquiring about the credit limit of a customer, so he will send a certain service to the object database that will go to the SQL database to get the answer to the client. If this request is asked several times, it doesn't have to go all the way. So the application object server is smart enough to orchestrate the traffic. So if the same ask has came from this client, automatically it can go to the other client without increasing the traffic on this part of the application. So this is what we mean by a 3-tier application, is that we also have the AOS in the middle to orchestrate all the traffic in and out, either from the client to the application side or from the application to the client side. Also, a very interesting concept that we have in AX is that we have the different layers that we see here. So what does that mean? So we do have, maybe the terms are not very clear, we do have a system layer, we have a global layer, business solution layer, VAR layer, customer, and user layer. So the user layer is the layer that each one of you could see if he's using AX, whether from a supply chain point of view, financial point of view, HR, depending on his global user domain. So that's a user layer. Can he or she customize it? Yes. Will this affect any other user? No, because this is happening on the user layer. Okay. What I'm customer X, I want to do a certain customization for AX that will affect each and every single user. So I will do it on that layer. Once I do it on that layer, it will affect the users, all the users. But still, each one of them can still customize his own view based on his needs. Of course, if IT will allow it to do this. And then we have the VAR or solution layer and the business solution layer. These two layers are mainly done by our partners. So if our partners want to do a certain customization, for example, for all the customers in Kuwait. So there is, for example, a certain report that has to be issued from each and every single company to the government, to the central bank, to any kind of organization. So this is a country requirements of this will be done probably in one of these two layers. The global layer is when Microsoft is doing a localization for a certain region or for a certain country. And then the final layer, the sixth layer, this is only touched by Microsoft. And the way it operates is that anything that will happen on any layer, it will affect all the upper layers, but not vice versa. So you can easily do a user customization, you can easily do a customer customization for your organization, but this will never affect any other layer. So if Microsoft comes up with a new application, with a new version, with a new release, it will just affect probably this layer. If we do a certain globalization, customization, or regional customization, it will affect this layer. Automatically, it will appear on each and every single user profile, or each and every customization that you're doing on the company level. So the beauty of this layer is that customization is very easily managed from your IT team, from you personally, or from your partner, or from Microsoft. So you don't need to worry about any customization that you do because of this layer structure. So how does our roadmap look like? So AX, so that's the fifth version of AX 2012. The previous version was AX 2009 that was released by the end of 2008. AX 2012 was released almost a year ago, and we're still expecting probably a year from today or a year and a half, AX7, and again 2 years down the road, the next version of AX. So we do have a very clear roadmap, we do have a statement of direction document that we can share with you that will tell you exactly what can you expect in the upcoming layer. How can this help you? Because for example, if you were planning a certain customization for your company, for a certain set of users, etc., probably don't have to do this right now because this is coming in our next release, the next update. So you always need to keep in mind what Microsoft is investing in, what Microsoft will be coming up with in the next 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, because you just need to align with this. Probably will not be coming up with any customization related to what you're looking for, but maybe the opposite. So we just need to make sure to be aligned with the statement of direction issued by Microsoft. We do usually issue this document on a yearly basis or even sometimes each and every 6 months. Okay, let's say now you want to have AX, but you're really concerned about the support. So I don't want to get an ERP today and then worry about the support 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road. I need to upgrade the version I have. That's a hassle. I have hundreds of users. I've done a lot of customization, etc. You don't have to worry about that because we do support any version for 5 years, and even for you specifically, for your company, you can even have an extended support for another 5 years. So you don't have to worry about the version that you will buy today or you implement today, because this version will be supported for at least 10 years from today. So you don't have to worry about, okay, I need to upgrade my system, I need to upgrade the network, the database, etc. No, the same version that you have today can be supported for the next 10 years without any problem that you would have. But of course, if you want to upgrade, we do have, as I mentioned, the clear roadmap, and then you can probably plan your upgrades according to our roadmap. But I mean, you don't have to be forced to do that if you're not planning to do this.
Excuse me, support doesn't include upgrade?
No, there's a confusion. So once you buy the license, and then you have a software assurance plan or an enhancement plan in place, you are eligible to get all the upgrades free of charge. But the concern is that sometimes you will get the new upgrade free of charge, let's say AX 2015, but you don't want to implement it. There's no lots of new functionalities for you that will help you in your business. So you want to stay with the new old version. So sometimes the customers are concerned, okay, if Microsoft stops the support of my version, what should I do? So what I was saying here is that we support your existing version for 10 years. So if you call Microsoft and say, I still have AX 2012, you're supporting me till 2022, yes, we're supporting you. But you're still eligible to get all the other versions free of charge. So if you want to go for any version that you already came up with, it's completely available to you free of charge. But we're not forcing you to install or to upgrade it. Again, I was not very smart picking the colors, I'm sorry for that. But how are we perceived now in the market? So based on Gartner's report that was issued in June 2012, this is where Microsoft Dynamics AX is in the leader quadrant compared to SAP, for example, being 4 and 1. Epicor even are in that quadrant, and all other players are way behind us. And also based on a Forrester.
Sorry? What do you want to say?
What do I want to say?
Yeah. Where is Microsoft?
So this is Microsoft Dynamics AX. And we have also the same quadrant SAP, every code in that quadrant, and different players are way behind us. That's the Gartner, that's not the Microsoft report, that's the Gartner's report. And this report is available online, free of charge. So you can easily download it from the internet, and this was published in June 2020. Also another report by Forrester. So Dynamics AX, what is this Dynamics AX? There is Oracle here. There is other Microsoft Dynamics products. For those of you who attended at the beginning, I mentioned that we have also other ERPs like Dynamics NAV. SAP is somewhere here, and again, all other players are behind us. So these are two independent analyst firms, Forrester and Gartner. Another interesting study that was made, again by an analyst firm, is that the ROI and the total cost of ownership of the application. So this was an ROI calculation done for Dynamics, Microsoft Dynamics, Oracle Business Suite, and SAP. So this showed that the return on investment on Dynamics implementation was done in less than 2 years, compared to Oracle Business Suite. It was 5 years, and SAP, God knows. So this is what, again, this was done by an independent analyst firm, and again, from a management point of view, so how many people you need to manage Dynamics AX? Again, the same study mentioned that it was around 2.5 resources, Oracle Business Suite was 9 resources, and SAP was more than 30 resources.
Is this from Gartner?
I'm sorry?
Is this from Gartner?
No, this was done by Nucleus Research.
Yeah, but how it's 43%?
I can get you more detail about that, I don't know. But again, it's available online, available for everyone. So I can get you more detail if interested. These are some of our references on the regional and global scale. Some of them are in Kuwait, some others are across the region. So since I'm running out of time, I think I'll just skip this one and then just have a few screenshots. I'm sure that you're all aware of Windows 8 and the new tablets on the market, etc. So just a few screenshots of how AX would look on Windows 8, either tablet or PC. So again, we have a client fully enabled on Windows 8, so you can manage your day-to-day activities, your dashboards, your reports, your approvals, your tasks, your financial statements on a Windows 8 tablet. So this can be, of course, appealing for management or even for senior users. So that was my last slide. Sorry, I had to run a little bit fast because I was asked to finish it in 30 minutes, so I'm sorry for that. So, but I can take any questions for the next 5 minutes if you have any. Please.
This Microsoft is how best it is compared to Oracle E-Business and JD Edwards.
I'm sorry, how
best this product compared to Oracle E-Business Suite and JD Edwards?
Okay. As I've shown the analyst reports, Oracle was there on the slide. I'm not sure if JD Edwards was there, but it was there. So here is JD Edwards, and here is Oracle E-Business Suite, and this is where the analyst is. And this is done.
You claim that Microsoft Dynamics AX is better than those two packages.
As per Gartner, yes.
So, what aspect is, in which way it is better? Can you please highlight?
Okay, we never do an apple-to-apple comparison. So we cannot tell you, yes, AX has this feature or it doesn't have it, or vice versa. But this is based on a certain study done by Gartner, and they have their own, all the parameters they took into consideration. So that's, as I mentioned earlier, that's a publicly available report, available for everyone. So it tells you exactly how it was done, and how they measured, and how they came up with this analysis.
In which language it is written?
I'm sorry?
In which language it is written? AX 2012.
2012, I'm not sure if it was changed, but if it was changed other than since the beginning, but I know that you can develop using .NET. I'm not on the technical side, but I'm sure that you can customize it with .NET. Any other questions? I'm sorry? Again, I'm not on the technical side, but if you have an answer for
Is
that.
it written in Visual Basic?
So yes, it's developed using the X++ language, and you can do your customization on any document package. So you can do it in any document, and this converts automatically by the tools in the system to X++. And the greatest advantage of this is that in the market you have a lot of document developers, so anybody will know any language of document they can customize easily.
The workflow is based on SharePoint workflow itself. See,
Sorry?
the workflow is SharePoint workflow itself, and it is customizable. The workflow using this software is the same SharePoint workflow, and it is customizable, right?
It has its own SharePoint, it has its own workflow engine, but it can also use the SharePoint engine.
Yeah, and it can customize by.
Yes, of course, can be customized. Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much. Since also Hatem is here, we'll introduce Hatem. So Hatem is the Dynamics Channel Manager. He's out of Kuwait. So probably for any other questions, Hatem will always